Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Aunt Wisdom's Thoughts for the Day. There's so many things I want to come to you all with, but I thought I'd do something a little bit more lighthearted. But it's a serious subject, at least for me. I kind of want to know, where have all the men gone? Like the good quality men that are supposedly tons of them out there that are single, and yet women like myself, educated, have our own homes, are relatively attractive, and we can't find men that are quality men. Everybody wants to, for the lack of better words, they want to test drive the car before they buy it. And I know it's kind of maybe crazy to say this because it's crazy to a lot of people, but I have rededicated my life to Christ. And more importantly, I decided that I would remain abstinent. So, needless to say, it's been an extremely difficult road to date. I haven't actually dated in over 5 years. But when I was dating and going out on a date here and there with new people, my dates would last usually a 1, 2 dates if I'm lucky. I consider myself a one date hitter, meaning I don't usually get past the first date. Yes, there's phone calls and things of that nature, but that's where the issues come out as to I have some deal breakers, and I think men should have deal breakers. I think men need to hold themselves to a higher standard and stop looking at women as just a piece of meat. Um, I'm going to be 49 years old here very soon, and I used to believe that I would have a husband, and I've had two. And I've been divorced, and I married both my husbands for all the wrong reasons, and I am not saying I'm not to blame for any of my relationships that did not last. However, as I was getting my act together in this world and within myself, and then I recommitted myself to Christ, that included taking myself off of I'm going to call it the butcher block of the sexuality part of a relationship. I don't believe any longer that you need to be intimate with somebody just because you're dating them. And I wish there were men out there that felt the same way. I really do wish that there were men out there that first would put God the head of their lives and then be able to appreciate a good woman. Um, I listened to a gentleman on Facebook. His name is Reverend Jesse Peterson. He's a Black American. He is a lot of joy to watch. And he's got this thing, a motto, I guess. He wants to rebuild the man. And I find it extremely interesting because uh, me, my girlfriends, other females that I have an adult daughter, so female friends of hers, I've heard all the complaints, and I'm sure men have their complaints about women. I have no doubt about that. But he is really got this goal to try to rebuild the man, because in his ideas, which are based biblically, which mine are as well, excuse me, that there is a natural order to things, and that includes in human beings. God should be the head of the man. The man, therefore, should be the head of the wife ahead of the children. Yes, I know women have gotten out in the world and they want to work and they want to have careers. I've been there, done that. I don't see nothing wrong with that, but I will stand here 100% and say I wished I could have been a stay-at-home mom and a wife, because I know without a doubt I could have been a really good wife. Now, I grew up and went through a lot of the phases that a lot of people go through growing up, and in being a woman, not just growing up from a child to an adult, but in growing from a young adult to an older adult, in what that womanhood means. So I know that women as a whole, in my opinion, have really took to the shit. Okay, I'm just going to say it. I think there are more women that are loose, more women that I would call floozies. I know that word's kind of outdated, but I don't understand why it's okay for women to be out there slutting around no more than I do with men. But I really wish men would stop assuming that every woman is going to sleep with them eventually, as long as they date them long enough. I recently had a friend, I thought he was a friend, and 2 years into our friendship, no intimacy whatsoever. No kissing, no hugging, no touching, nothing. Simply friends. And I could tell he was growing increasingly agitated towards the last couple months of our friendship. And I thought it was based upon my religious standing. And again, I hate to use that word religious standing, but let me say my biblical standing. Because I kept telling him, I'm not going to date people just to date. I'm not going to throw my hat in anymore, basically. And he knew this from day one, from the day I met him, within moments of meeting him. That's one of my faults, is I come out too quickly, is what I've been told. You know, you tell all your secrets in the very first date or within the first, few meetings of someone, whether it be a date or just a gathering with friends. But I'm a big believer in you got to be honest. And I'm not going to lead any man on letting him get to know me and maybe begin to really like me, and then me springing on him, oh, by the way, we're not having sex until you put a ring on it, and then you can have the goodies, so to speak. And I know that sounds terrible, maybe coming from a 48-year-old woman who's a mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, and someone who is a teen parent, and who definitely had a lot of fornicating that I had done in my life, because I wasn't married to all my boyfriends, right? But I've learned from that. And for 5 years or so, almost 6 now, as I have not been dating, I really have, I had decided that it was done. I was done. I would never have that dream. I would never have that husband that could be my protector, that could be my provider. And I don't mean just financial provider by no means. I mean a provider, somebody that is there when I'm weak. They can lift me. When they're weak, I can lift them. Someone who could be vulnerable with me, that I could be vulnerable with them. But ultimately, that man would be higher in the hierarchy of things within my family. I would love to be able to submit to a man. And I can hear one of my exes laughing right now as I say that, because he thinks I'm certifiably nuts. But nonetheless, he believes I'm very hard-headed. I look at that as headstrong. He believes I'm stuck in my ways, which I have learned. I mean, I have learned, and I've learned a lot. But I don't feel like I should have to put my body on the line in order to earn the love, the respect, and eventually the commitment from a man to spend the rest of my life with him. I mean, come on. I'm almost 50. How much more of the rest of the life do we have? Especially in my belief system on the biblical scriptures and the Bible prophecy, we're going to be lucky to have 20 years. I'm just going to say that to not freak everybody out. But that's way high estimating it. Because when the peace agreement happens, again, hate to keep throwing that out there, but when that peace agreement happens, there's literally 7 years before the Battle of Armageddon, and the human government is put down. Jesus is crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords. We go into the 1,000-year millennium. Whoever wasn't killed in the war and whoever did not go up in the catching up to be with God, to be with Jesus, who's going to reign over the earth. Jesus being God in the flesh. But anyhow, I think I lost my track there a little bit. But I don't want to say anymore that it's over, it's done. I'm never going to have that. I don't know why, but I feel like the Lord is kind of laying that on my heart, saying, don't give up. It's not over until you're not breathing. I mean, I've watched people in their 60s get married, and I think that would be difficult for them, because the ones I've heard of or seen, it's people that have been married for 40, 50 years and their spouse dies, and within a couple years they remarry. And I want to know where all you men are. I want to know, why is it so important for a man to get down a woman's pants to somehow verify that this is a woman they want to spend the rest of their life with? I mean, to be completely crude about it, the majority of us women, we have all the same parts. They don't differ that greatly. I'm a registered nurse. I've seen a lot of coochie, okay, in my practice. And no, for all you freaks out there, I have no desire to be with a woman, never have, never will. And I've seen a lot of men in the naked state as an RN. So I have news for all you men, even those of you that maybe do hold yourself a little bit closer to the chest and not give your body out so freely. That's the best thing to do, not just for women, but for men. And I'm just curious, where are they? I mean, I know there's tons of single men in my age group. I have a feeling there's so many just around me in my neighborhood and in my city and my town, my state, that could be great quality men for somebody like myself. But I am not going to lay down and open my body up to another man without a commitment of marriage and without a commitment of him putting God at the head of his life. So I'm asking everybody today to reconfirm in their own mind what they want in their lives. And if it is a spouse, be the best person you can be to attract the spouse that you want. I wasted a lot of my life trying to be right, trying to do the right thing, trying to be the independent woman. I had 2 children, and I was pretty much single, raising them without their dads. And so I was always the boss. I always had my own place. I never lived with a man. I never had a man move in with me. And I got too comfortable with that. And I've learned that that is not a thing I should have done if my ultimate goal was to be married. So I would hope that some of you men out there that may be watching this video, I ask that you kind of reassess the way that you look at women. And I know there's a lot of women out there that are not giving you a good example to look at, whether it be women you're dating, whether it be people in your family, your work environment, your school environment. There's a lot of women that, in my opinion, are really downgrading us women as a whole. I don't care what shade of color you are. I'm talking all women. They have taken this sexualness nature of our bodies and what God really intended for the pleasure of a female to her husband, and they have twisted it and made it so evil. And in reality, in my world, from my age group, and what I know from the time I was born, and in history from that point forward, is initially in my mind it was men. But without the women, men cannot exploit us if we don't let them. And I personally feel like anybody who strips, man or female, this male or female, strippers, prostitutes, anyone that is selling their body, the beauty that the Lord gave us to share with somebody that we love, is degrading the entire system of love, marriage, and matrimony, being marriage. And I used to say that was one of my biggest regrets, because I felt like that may never happen. And I'm here to tell you, I finally have hope. And I don't know where that hope's coming from, because I'm not dating. I haven't met anyone. I haven't even been out with my friends. I have done nothing this summer. Nothing but hurt and deal with my physical ailments, trying to keep my home going, mowing my grass and such. So, men, please treat a lady like a lady when she's acting like a lady. Get to know her mind and her heart. Put God first in your life. If you put God first in your life, you're going to bring about goodness on all levels. All levels. That's for anything. Man, women, child. And for younger people, younger men and women, stop giving your bodies up for nothing. Stop it. Yeah, I did it. I know. Hypocrite, right? I'm a hypocrite. No, I'm a learned person. I'm an educated person. I've learned from the hardships of my life, of giving up my goods. Okay? I've learned from that. Don't do it. Every time you sleep with someone, you give a piece of yourself away that you will never, ever get back. Ever. Never. The only way that's going to be a treasure in your life when you are intimate with someone is if, number one, you create a child from that. That puts an imprint on us. At least women, it does. And the other way is if you actually become a spouse of that person that you're sleeping with. Other than that, it becomes something filthy, dirty, something you wish you would have never done, or if you did do it, you might not regret it, but it's another person that you can add to the dirty, nasty list of how many people you've slept with. We need to get back to the old values. We need to get back to the values of our bodies being exactly what God intended them to be, something very precious, something that we need to take care of. We need to represent and be respectful. Be ladies if we want a gentleman, and gentlemen, treat the ladies that are truly ladies like ladies, and you will eventually find one. And for you women out there that are making a bad name for the rest of us, you suck, okay? If you can't keep your pants on, if you got to wear belly shirts and have your tits and ass hanging out all the time, you are doing no one a favor. You're not doing yourself a favor. You're not doing your environment a favor. You're not doing children in your environment a favor. And you are definitely not getting the respect of men. Yeah, you're getting their attention. That's different than respect. And men, when you're out there Google eyeing people, women, God forbid if you're one of them men that try to touch women that you don't know, knock it off. It's not cool, okay? You're going to run across somebody like myself who will haul off and knock the living shit out of you. And women, since when are women not standing up for other women? If that's one thing that we can do is stand up for each other. If a man is hitting on you and you know he's married or you know he's committed, it is your responsibility in the womanhood, sisterhood of things, not in his relationship. It's his responsibility there, I agree. But if your husband or your boyfriend flirts with me and I know you, I'm going to tell you about it. If I don't know you, I'm going to tell him about it. And I'm going to threaten him that if he tries it again, I'm going to find out who his family is, and I am going to tell his wife. We need to do that for each other. As Americans, let's do that for each other. I love you all. It's just a little tidbit that's been on my heart lately. I wanted to share it with you. And I truly hope those of you that are in good relationships, that have a spouse, whether you're married or dating, treat that person as if they are a gem. Even if they're not treating you the best right now. The better you treat them, the better they're going to treat you. Some of you are in relationships that are just horrible. I say get out. And don't just get out, run. Run fast. I've been in those too. I've been abused. I've been talked down to. Way back when I was younger. They wouldn't get away with that once I turned 30-ish. No way in living hell. Okay? Love yourself. Love others. Do not give yourself up for just anything or anyone. You are worthy in the eyes of the Lord. He loves you. He wants you to have the best for you. Take care, everyone, and thank you once again for coming back and sitting with Aunt Wisdom. Have a wonderful evening, and may God bless you.